So you're staring at the endless rows of soundbars online, wondering if any of them actually deserve that big-ticket price tag. You've probably already heard the usual sales hype: immersive Dolby Atmos, movie theater-level bass, plug-and-play simplicity, but you're still not sure whether you'd be trading a solid TV speaker setup for a piece of gear that ends up being more flash than substance. You don't want to waste $2,500 on something that sounds great in a showroom but falls flat in the living room you actually have. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's dig into the Nakamichi Dragon 11.4.6 channel system and see if it really lives up to the promise for the kind of home theater experience most of us are after. First, a quick reality check. This isn't a compact soundbar you can slide under a 55-inch TV. At 58 inches wide, it's more of a mini receiver with a full-size speaker array, dual opposing 8-inch subs, and 6 discrete height channels. In other words, you're stepping into the world of dedicated surround sound rigs, but with the convenience of a single unit that handles all the processing. If you've ever tried to coax a 2-channel TV speaker into delivering the rumble of an explosion or the whisper of dialogue on a rainy night, you'll appreciate that this system is built around the idea that you need real, separate drivers to get there. Who should consider the Dragon? If you're a movie buff who regularly watches Blu-ray releases, a gamer who wants every footstep and gunshot placed precisely around you, or a music lover who values nuanced instrument separation, this setup gives you that extra layer of realism. The 6 height speakers, powered by Nakamichi's AHD Ultra engine, are designed to project sound above the listener, which is what Dolby Atmos and DTS-X rely on for that cubes of sound effect. In a moderately sized living room, say 12 by 15 feet, the height channels actually make a difference. You'll hear the ceiling-mounted rain in a storm scene feel like it's really falling from above, not just a stereo reverb. On the flip side, if your main viewing habit is streaming services on a 40-inch screen in a small apartment, or you're looking for a simple upgrade that fits under your TV without rewiring, the Dragon might be overkill. The bulk of the system, especially the dual 8-inch subs, will demand floor space and a bit of acoustic planning. You'll need to place the subs on opposite walls or at least far enough apart to avoid acoustic coupling, and you'll probably need to run a power cable and a HDMI ARC or eARC connection to your TV. Those are not plug-and-play steps for someone who just wants a quick boost in volume. Now let's talk about the real-world performance you'll actually hear. The first thing most people notice is dialogue clarity. Nakamichi's HiFi air motion tweeters, AMTs, handle the upper frequencies, and because they're separate from the main woofers, they stay crisp even when the bass is turned up. I tried a scene from a dialogue-heavy drama where 2 characters argue in a busy CAF. On a stock TV speaker, the background chatter masks the words, but with the Dragon, each line remains distinct, even the softer consonants cut through. That's because the tweeters are aimed directly at the listening position, and the processing engine keeps the mid-high band clean. Bass is where the dual opposing subs make a noticeable impact. Rather than a single 12-inch driver trying to fill the room, the 2 8-inch units push in opposite phases, creating a more even pressure wave. In the test with an action film's car chase, the low-frequency rumble didn't just vibrate the couch, it resonated throughout the floor, delivering that physical feel you usually only get in a cinema. However, there's a practical downside: those subs are hungry. In a quiet apartment, the low end can become a little too aggressive, and you'll hear the bass bleed through walls. Fine-tuning the sub-gain, or even moving the subs onto carpeted flooring, help tame the excess without losing the impact. Surround effect is another key area. The system includes 4 side surround speakers plus the height channels, all driven by Nakamichi's exclusive ProCinema engine. During a horror movie test, the directional cues, creaking doors, footsteps approaching from behind were spot on. The engine processes the audio to keep sounds anchored to their on-screen sources, so you actually feel like you're sitting in the middle of the action rather than just hearing a monolithic soundstage. That said, the surround experience is only as good as your room's acoustics. In a rectangular room with hard walls, some reflections can cause smearing, making the surround cues a bit less precise. Adding a couple of acoustic panels behind the main speakers helps sharpen the imaging. Connectivity is fairly straightforward but worth mentioning. The Dragon offers HDMI ARC/eARC, optical, and coaxial inputs, along with Bluetooth streaming. I connected it to a mid-range 4K TV and an Xbox Series X via HDMI, and the eARC link handled lossless Dolby Atmos streams without any hiccup. One gripe, though, is the remote.